Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Tom Hesser Dealerships, is on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome inside Veterans Memorial Stadium. We're in Old Forge, Lackawanna County. Tonight, it's a Lackawanna Football Conference Division III showdown between Lackawanna Trail and Old Forge. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide, and welcome to Week 6 already of high school football here on MyTV WQMY. Joining me, as he always does in the booth, former Tunkhannock area coach Jan Cichak.
Thank you, Bob.
Amanda Kuhl will be on the sidelines a little bit shortly. So, Coach, there's only 2 teams this year in District 2 with the new cycle. That will be Lackawanna Trail and Old Forge. As we take a look at the standings, Trail's in charge right now, up by a little bit. One thing we do know, they will meet for a District 2 Class A title in early November.
Starting in November, that's when it's going to count. Talking to both coaches pre-game, they know this is an important game, but they have that also in the back of their minds that they're going to meet again in November.
Let's talk about Lackawanna Trail. The Lions have lost 2 straight games. They're 3-2 coming in, a tough schedule. They're young, a little bit inexperienced, so they're going to need a big night from our Allied Services spotlight player, Lucas Gumbel.
Lucas Gumbel is one of their key players. He's 62 for 236 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's got 1 receiving touchdown this year. More importantly, he's got 1 interception on the defense.
It's unusual to see Old Forge with 3 losses, but they have played a tough schedule as well. Their offense, I think, is pretty good. They have the experience. They need a big night tonight from our other Allied Services spotlight player, and that's Josh Spindler.
Josh Spindler is almost identical in terms of stats. 38 for 295. He also has 3 touchdowns. More importantly, defensively, he's been tearing it up. He's got an interception. He's got 3 forced fumbles. He is their go-to guy on defense.
He tells his wife he can't do anything because he has to watch game film. So he's watched a lot of game film. You got some keys to the game, so let's give it for Trail first.
Trail, they want to have no big plays, and they also want to get those first downs.
How about for Old Forge?
Almost identical there, too. He wants to make sure no big plays and also no penalties.
Well, it's a beautiful night for high school football, isn't it? So let's check on the weather for the weekend. And tonight, let's go down to Mike Susko from the Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Hey everyone, happy Friday night. Here's a look at your Friday Night Rivals forecast for Lackawanna Trail at Old Forge. We'll start things off at kickoff right around the upper 50s, and as we went throughout the day today, you noticed that we had the increase in cloud cover. That will continue tonight. Overall, though, not bad for some football. Halftime, 56 degrees here. We'll be in the mid-50s and then dropping down to around 51 by the end of the game. Again, we'll start to see those mostly cloudy skies continue, though. Winds not too bad at the east 4 to 7 miles per hour. So make sure if you're heading out to the game, you just take that light jacket with you and you should be good to go. Let's send it back out to the field.
We are all set for the first matchup between Lackawanna Trail and Old Forge. To kick off, the starting lineups are next.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Tom Hesser Dealerships on MyTV WQMY.
Here come the Lions of Lackawanna Trail taking on their rivals, the Old Forge Blue Devils, on a beautiful night for high school football in northeastern Pennsylvania. Welcome back, both teams on the field, and we're get ready to get this one underway. But before we do, let's go down to Amanda on the sidelines about what has turned into quite a rivalry over the years. Amanda.
That's right, Bob, and it's homecoming in the Pizza Capital as Lackawanna Trail comes to Old Forge for the first of 2 meetings between these teams this year. As you know, Old Forge and Lackawanna Trail are the only 2 District 2 1A teams, so both of these teams will meet again in the district championship on November 5th. Old Forge is the defending district champion. They have 9 district titles, with 7 of them coming since 2011. Overall in this series, Old Forge leads 26-20. We're going to see if the Blue Devils can make it 27 tonight.
If they do, it'll be the second time they've won since 2019. That was in the Class A game. That season, we did the first game on MyTV, but Trail, and then the game for the title was here. Trail reversed it, and they won the title in 2019. We're all set here. Lackawanna Trail won the toss. They deferred to the second half. So that means Logan Edwards will tee it up. It looks... Krzyzanowski is deep to receive. against with Barnikowski, and picked up by the Blue Devils with some room, and they bring it up quickly. Ryan Novak. So James Spindler is the quarterback. He's been around a couple years. James Sobel, excuse me. You see 560 yards this year, 2 interceptions, but overall, Coach, in his career, he only has 10 interceptions as a 2-year starter.
And again, this young man, if you look at him, you're going to look and say, he looks like an offensive guard, but this young man's got great feet. He's got a very good arm. This year, they've been trying to get him on track, and we might be able to see that tonight.
So Sobel in the shotgun. This team averages 27 points per game. It's to Spindler, our spotlight player. Knocks over a Gatorade bottle. And he's got a nice gain of almost 7 yards on the first play.
They come right back out here with the power sweep, and there he goes. Spindler, good ball security there, and you'll see this in there. He takes that Gatorade 5-gallon bucket out, but I'll tell you what, didn't spill a drop. It's back up, ready to serve those Old Forge players.
If you know about Old Forge, you know the sidelines are very short here, so you have to be careful if you're out there. Same play. He's up for a Perfect Storm Renovations first down. Let's take a look at the offense. 300 yards per game on average this season, despite 3 losses. Up front, very experienced. Let's talk about Sobel, Spindler, and Granko will be the fullback when he's in once in a while. Holtzman, a very good receiver, 16 catches, 4 touchdowns on this season. And here are the experienced guys up front. There you see all seniors, Coach. That's a big advantage.
That's huge. They average 230 pounds across the board. They've got game experience, and they do a great job blocking and creating those holes for the running backs.
Sobel likes to run, and there he takes it, and Cooper Patterson, the freshman, takes him down. You'll see a lot of Spindler tonight. Sobel and Spindler going back and forth running the ball.
They run that RPO really well, and you saw that time. Sobel decided to pull it, keep it, and he got himself a tough 2 yards. Trail's defense is ready for him. They've seen him a lot the last 2 years.
Yeah, these two teams are very familiar with each other, even though Lackawanna Trail last 2 years was in AA. They have played, but they have not played for a championship since 2019. Spindler nowhere to go on that. Good defense up front by Gary Shaw, the junior.
Well, this is one thing Coach Jervis wanted to make sure happened. Keys to his game is gang tackling. Look at this, right in there, 76, 54, and that's number 5. All up there, coming up there, doing a great job gang tackling.
Demetrius Duggo was number 5. So long third down coming up. Sobel last week, just 85 yards through the air against Lakeland and a touchdown. 9 for 22, his first pass of the night. Short one, over the middle, it's caught well short of the first down. Brought in by Lecheski. Let's see what Coach Schuback wants to do.
Nice job. He has some protection. He's got time, but the secondary of Trail had them covered. And again, a short gain. This is where you want to, you always tell your receivers, get to the sticks. Know where football awareness is on the field.
Litwin back to receive the Barnikowski punt. So Coach Schuback's going to play the field position game. He did fake one last week. They get this one away. Litwin has good running room, gain of about 6 past the 30, and that's where we'll see the offense from the Lions. The Lions coming in, going to be led by Steven Jervis, the coach's son this year. First year starting, good numbers, but has thrown 3 interceptions.
He really has. And again, in a wing T, they really don't pass a whole lot. So that's why his numbers aren't jumping off like it says 280, but those have been 280 key yards for the Lions this year.
We both asked Coach Jervis, did you ever think your son would be the quarterback, and what did he say?
He said, nope, back in Pee Wee, I thought he was going to end up, the coach asked me, and I said, I thought maybe a guard or a tackle.
He is a big guy, 5'11", 190. First pass, they come out throwing, and Litwin dropped it. He had some running room. So a little bit of a wrinkle there, Coach. No running in the wing T.
Well, again, they're going to try to open up, be unconventional. Let's work on some things that we normally wouldn't do. We know that we've got the buck sweep, we got the Sally. Let's work that passing game.
Both Trail coming in after a loss to Dunmore last week, 24-7.
Well, Dunmore really, Coach McHale's done a nice job this year enduring the storm, and he's having a pretty good season.
Hunter Patterson loses a yard. Great tackle in there. And let's take a look at the offense for this Trail team, averaging 15 points per game. There you see we have the 4 backs because of the wing T. And then Kimmel and Caccini. And here is the offensive line. You'll notice 2 freshmen in there, Coach, very young up front.
2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior. The future is bright for the Lions, but again, they can't worry about that. They have to worry about tonight.
Quick out to great catch by Douglas, I should say, well short of the first down. And Lions will now be forced to punt.
That was a nice ball by Jervis, getting that ball out there on the swing pass. He comes right across. You saw him. He takes a little bit. Number 5, drop back. Douglas drop back. Nice one-handed grab to pull that in. 2 handball security.
Spindler with the tackle. Holtzman back to receive. Looks like Colino maybe as well, number 30. Punter is Gumbel. No rush, end over end spinning kick, and it will take a trail bounce, and they'll down it right at the 45-yard line for the Blue Devils. Gonna be on their second possession. So, Coach, we see losses on these teams. We see 3 losses from Old Forge. We see 2 from Lackawanna Trail. They basically have played almost a similar schedule. 3 opponents have been the same: Mid-Valley, Nanticoke, and Dunmore. They all lost to them. They both lost to Dunmore. They both beat Nanticoke and Mid-Valley, I should say.
Well, and when you look at those terms of those stats, Old Forge has really played a little bit tougher schedule than the Lions have, but the Lions are so young up front, and that shows at times, and that's been, one of those growing pains we talk about as a coach, that you just have to be patient with these young kids and just keep talking them up.
So Holtzman has 4 yards. We'll look at this one again. And coming in, I did the math. The opponents for Old Forge overall right now, 17-8. They lost to 3 teams: Western Wayne, Dunmore, and Lakeland. All 3 of those teams are probably going to go to the respective playoffs. While on the other side, Lackawanna Trail, 12-11 their opponents this year. So the harder schedule coming in has definitely gone to the Blue Devils. And there's the Lions taking down Holtzman for a loss. Another 3rd down coming up. Let's take a look at the defense for the Lions, giving up 13 points per game. A lot of same numbers on both sides. The 2 Patterson brothers will be in the middle. And Gumbel has 24 total tackles on the year. And there you see the 3 defensive backs. 18 total tackles for Kimmel on the year as well. So defense playing well. Sobel's second look tonight through the air. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. He hits Lecheski. It's going to be incomplete. So another 3 and out for Old Forge, and they're having problems on offense this year as well.
Watch, they blitzed number 72 up the gut, which ended up forcing their number 4 for Old Forge, that Spindler, the running back, to really step up soon and pick that up and put pressure on Sobel now to get that ball out.
We are not even halfway through this quarter. This is our 3rd punt, 2 for Old Forge and 1 for the Lions. Oh, it might have hit an Old Forge Trail player. It did not. Colino downs it. Referees say it did not hit number 10.
Snap was a little high. Good end over end.
Just
barely.
Missed Ryan, yeah. The freshman almost couldn't get out of the way, so Trail has it now. Their side of the field again, now to 34. So not much offense so far in 2 series.
No, and again, I think both teams are trying to do something a little bit different. They're, maybe they've scripted out that they want to start doing some things. Let's see how the other team adjusts. And I think right now we're going to come back and we're going to see the wing T that Coach Jervis has really done a great job with Lackawanna Trail.
Gumbel, nowhere to go. That line is going to be tested tonight against the defense. whole host of players. Holtzman shooting in there, as well as Khalil Rose. No gain on the play.
Well, Old Forge's defensive front four averaged 241 pounds, and Trail's 5 offensive linemen averaged 224. But again, there's 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior up there for the Lions.
Old Forge would like to get things rolling and hopefully win another Class A title. Get back into the playoffs like they did last year where they lost to Canton. Again, no running room on the right side. A host of players there. Holtzman and Rose one more time. Let's take a look at this Blue Devils defense, giving up a surprising 314 yards per game on the season. Seniors in there, as you might always expect, playing well. There's the linebackers, very active as well. Grenko is 30 total tackles on the season. Barnikowski back there, 10 total tackles. But Holtzman is really the key in there. 32 total tackles on the years, Coach. 7 for a loss and a sack. So he's very active with his defensive back position.
Huge, keeping the Blue Devils in these tight games.
Ground again and running room for Max Kimmel. Kimmel down the left side. Kimmel into Blue Devil territory, and he's going to be ripped down inside the 15. A big play for Lackawanna Trail.
Well, you were just talking about number 3, Casey Holtzman for the Blue Devils. Had a touchdown-saving tackle right there. That was a great run in here. All they do is they come back with that, with this what they call a sally on that. It's kind of like a double reverse. And again, they get everybody going one way. The running back goes opposite and does a nice job.
A 62-yard gain for a perfect storm renovations first down. First and goal, Lackawanna Trail inside the Allied Services red zone for the first time tonight. A little bit of a hole on the left side up to the 5.
You saw Douglas do a little bit of a deep motion. That gives him a little bit more time now to read where that's going to be run, where the hole's going to be. Great job with this end zone shot. You see the guard fullback leading up in there.
Another test for this young offensive line. They looked good in the first quarter last week. Couple of mistakes against Dunmore before Dunmore ended up winning that one 24-7. Back behind to Hunter Patterson, and the 190-pound junior is going to be about a yard short. Third and goal coming up.
They run like an ISO play. You'll see number 4 right there lead up through. Excuse me, he was the fullback. The halfback was the one leading up through in there. And again, they're just trying to isolate the linebacker so that the halfback will take him, and the fullback then should be able to get some yardage, which he did.
This is 2-down territory if you're the Lions. You got to punch it in here. Behind his center, Shaw, the junior quarterback, scores the Lions' first touchdown of the night. What a drive for Lackawanna Trail.
Just see, look at that. The center, Shaw, got right to the second level, right after he snapped the ball to Jervis. There was nobody there for him to block, and Jervis ended up getting in there for that touchdown.
Boric for the extra point. It is up and good. So Lackawanna Trail goes 66 yards in 5 plays. They take the early 7-0 lead here in the pizza capital of the world.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. Lackawanna Trail leads Old Forge 7-0 about halfway through the first quarter. Joining me now is Sergeant Avila, a recruiter in the U.S. Army. Talk to me about your involvement in the community, especially here with some of these local high schools.
Awesome. So basically our involvement in the community is bridging the gap between the knowledge of what they know and what they don't know. So we get out in the community, we go to job fairs, career fairs, and we set up events to show them that we do have education programs. We do have a lot of other jobs outside of just combat that people do not know about. Like medical, for example, is a big thing that we just basically want to get involved in the community with that. We also have a lot of units in the area, like engineering units, military police units, CID units, and computer and technology units in Tobyhanna, which are a big part of the community itself.
Awesome. Well, Sergeant Avila, thank you so much for sharing all that with us. We look forward to seeing you at another game this season. Bob, Jan, let's get back to the game.
Thank you, guys. The kickoff from Lackawanna Trail was taken by Holtzman. Holtzman, nice return of almost 30 yards. They're going to bring it on the side of the Lions. So good field position coach for Old Forge to get back in this one quickly.
Let's see how they counter that touchdown drive by the Lions, what the Blue Devils have up their sleeve this series.
Here goes 35-0. Old Forge. Spindler breaks through. Spindler is going to be going in for a Old Forge touchdown. That's how you respond if you're the Blue Devils. They're an extra point away from tying this one up.
Well, you know what? You've got a big offensive line. Let's use them. They just go with inside. Look at that. They just parted the Red Sea in there, the Lion Sea in there, and Spindler off to the races. And again, there was not too much more that the Trail could have done to stop that because they got that first level to the second level and just opened up. There was nothing in the middle of the field.
Rodriguez on for the extra point, the sophomore. High snap is down, and the kick is up and through. And with 2:54 left in the first quarter, we are tied at 7 in Old Forge.
Luca Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Old Forge Blue Devils, serving up the best dishes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 6 days a week. Daily specials and homemade dishes are what makes us stand out. Booking a banquet, check outlet, our beautiful banquet room for your next event.
So that was Spindler's 5th touchdown of the season. We are tied at 7 after both teams had 3 and outs on their first couple possessions. Trail broke it down, went 66 yards on their drive. That one play, 49 yards for the Blue Devils.
Bob, you said that's a great way to counter the touchdown, that Lackawanna Trail, that drive they put together. Talk about efficiency, 1 play, 44 yards, touchdown. I mean, and we knew how good Spindler is as a running back. And again, he'll be the first one to credit his offensive line for opening that up for him.
Spindler's biggest yards this year, 148 and 2 touchdowns against Dunmore, and there you see it again.
That was a great job by number 52 in there. Old Forge, that is Santino Grappa, who ended up just doing a great job with the drive block downfield, pushed the Trail guy down, and then again, just let Spindler just run right up that gap.
Both teams now into division play, and Division 3 this year of Lackawanna Football Conference. A couple new teams in there like Carbondale and Dunmore, like you saw. Riverside, both teams will be playing them. Of course, Old Forge for years has always played Riverside, so nothing new for them. But this has developed into quite a rivalry, not on the scope of Riverside and Old Forge, but you meet 46 times. There's a pretty good rivalry there. And another big kick return, Gumbel up to midfield. Lackawanna Trail now in business.
This is what we were hoping to see tonight, but boy, special teams. Watch this. Great concentration on Gumbel. Good blocking assignments. Gets downfield, ball security. 2 guys, number 30 brings them down. Again, right at the 50-yard line.
Well, I think we proved in the last possession that anyone for Trail could break off. The way they run the wing T, you have a Kimmel, Douglas, Gumbel, Patterson, any one of them, they get a hole, they may have a chance to go the distance, Coach. Jervis back. They're going to go long in the double coverage, and it is off the fingertips of Litwin. He wants a flag. There is none down, and it falls incomplete.
I love it. Great play call right here. Let's go deep, and let's go for it, baby. Again, wonderful play fake in here. Watch this. Good job, but Gumbel snapped those shoulders over a little bit more. Very good ball thrown. One hand, he was able. I didn't see any pass interference on that from Mr. Litwin on that one, but again, he had one hand on it. Ball was placed very well.
Good pass by Jervis and good coverage from Connor Oshinsky, the junior, who knocked that one down. Gimmel through the second wave, almost the same play. He's carried down and thrown down like a wrestler after a gain of 4. And getting up is number 58, coach.
Here's
Tavin
the replay.
Brooks.
You see that buck sweep, number 62 getting involved. Brian Axtell, who's only a freshman, 6'2", 210 pounds, was leading the way for number 23 in there. Again, Max Kimmel does a nice job dragging a few of those Blue Devil players down for 5 yards.
Brooks with the tackle in there and brings up 3rd down again. Are you in 2-down territory here if you're Trail?
No, I think Coach is going to play a little bit more conservative. It's still first quarter, so don't give them a short field. We saw what happened last time with one play.
In-hand handoff. This time Old Forge reads it. Great tackle. That was Joe Granko.
Yep.
4th down.
Again, they go with that double reverse in there, and this is the part of the wing tee that is really difficult. You're always taught as a linebacker, go with the flow, but you have to be patient against the wing tee, because then if you over pursue, that's what creased them on that first series when they ran that same double reverse.
Granko coming in, 30 total tackles on the year, 2 for a loss, interception for number 88, who's a junior. So we will punt. And it will be Gimmel this time. High snap. Gimmel brings it down, and a nice high kick. Old Forge players get out of the way, and it's going to take a big Lions bounce and get down at the 5-yard line. So Old Forge is 95 yards away from taking their first lead of the night. And Coach Jervis has to be happy about that. He's 14th season with the Lions, 20th overall. He's 95 and 56 on those years here at Trail. And a couple times he went actually to the state finals with this team.
He's done a nice job. That wing tee is very well suited for Lackawanna Trail. They emphasize it, and I heard some of the other announcers saying that they talked to Coach Services, and some of the players were saying that all their base plays are in there. Now they're going to start adding some wrinkles. And again, week 6, which you would think they would have a lot more wrinkles in at this point, but they're really good at what they do.
Well, maybe they're waiting for division play, and now we're in it. Spindler. That's Cooper Patterson, the freshman, who takes him down quickly. Short gain.
Wow, Cooper Patterson. Nice job with his flow and his read. Watch him pull the trigger, come in there, take on. He beat the lead block and gets right to the ball carrier. Excellent job by Cooper Patterson.
Under a minute to play here in a fast-moving first quarter at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Old Forge. One play left, at least here in the first quarter. You see Spindler, he likes to run it. 5 touchdowns on the year. He'll give it to Spindler.
Oh.
And Spindler's ripped down by Gumbel, but he's going to be up for a Perfect Storm Renovations first down, I believe. They moved the chains.
I really like that tackle by Lucas Gumbel, the 6-foot, 180-pound junior. They go with the RPO. Watch this. He just gets his nose right to the ball, grabs his legs, drives him to the ground. That's a textbook tackle.
And on that, we're going to end the first quarter. That will do it. 1 in the book. We're tied at 7 in the first meeting between the Lions and the Blue Devils.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals. We are tied 7-7 at Old Forge and Lackawanna Trail. Joining me now is Toby Grisenda from NEPA Builders. Toby, thank you so much for joining us again.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit more about raising the roof. I know we've talked about it every week, but give me a little bit more information about what inspired you to do it and what it is.
Sure. So we wanted to give back to our community in only a way that a builder could. So instead of joining a food drive or a charity, we wanted to do something that would really impact somebody, and their house. So we came up with the idea to replace someone's roof, because that's one of the most fundamental protection systems of someone's house, right? So we got together with 84 Lumber, Fox 56, NEPA Builders, and the community to be able to come together and give away a free roof to somebody.
And I understand that applications are due pretty soon.
Yeah, in a couple weeks. So we're going to announce the winner the last game, the last week of October. So the second to last week of October is when the nominations will be due. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's get those applications in for Raising the Roof. As you know, we're going to announce that winner, like Toby said, at the end of this football season. So get those applications in. Bob, Jan, let's head back to the football game.
Thank you, Toby, for joining us, and a great cause there. Make sure you get those applications in. On the play, Casey Holtzman doing the duty as the second back tonight. 9 yards.
Nice. Watch, he got out of the outreach at number 20. We've called his name, and 23. Those two guys for the Lions have been all over the field. That's Gumbel, again, and Kimmel. We've called their names all night.
Sopel going long, and he's got Colino, hauls it in, and Colino is in for a touchdown for Old Forge. Sobel to Colino. 76 yards and a big play for the Blue Devils.
Well, talking to Coach Schubeck before the game, he was hoping that Sobel would get back on track, and boy, does he ever with that. A 76-yard strike. But what I really like, look at Kimmel right here. He doesn't give up. Good speed, and that's coming from a sophomore, but great catch, great touchdown drive for the Blue Devils.
It's tough to go 95 yards. Old Forge did it in 4 plays. Rodriguez's kick is up and good, and for the first time tonight, the home team, the Blue Devils, lead the Lions 14-7.
Here we go again. Great camera view from the end zone. Look at that. Good technique. Look at that ball. Tight spiral. Again, doing a crossing pattern down there, and number 30 just gets on his horse and rides that in. Great job by Nico Colino, the 5'5", 135-pound senior.
So the 7th touchdown for Sobel this year. Colino's 3rd of the season through the air. And it's a long one, 76 yards on strike to Colino from James Sobel. And I know James Sobel, looking at colleges, he's a big kid. I mean, he's 230 pounds. He wants to play quarterback. I guess how realistic is that? And what you see from him, what we've seen for him through the year, you think a college coach might be thinking that?
Absolutely. He's the type of prototypical, like they want to run that RPO stuff back in there. If they're going to be more of a run-oriented team, that's the type of kid you want in there because he does have a great arm. He can throw the ball, as we just witnessed that. The unfortunate thing is for James is that a lot of coaches, when they think of quarterbacks, they want a 6'1", 6'2", or taller type kid. And he'll get overlooked, but he'll find a nice spot, I believe, at a good Division III school.
Coach Schubeck had a long conversation with his special teams. So you're either something tricky or saying, don't give up the big play.
Well, we've seen on the special teams, Bob, that both teams have been getting gashed and getting great field position to start their offense. So this one, I'm sure that Coach Schubeck said, listen, guys, stay in your lanes, cast the net, which means you find the ball, and then once the ball carrier is 5 yards away from you, close that net up, and let's converge and make gang tackles.
Rodriguez, high kick, short. Taken by a Lion, 21, still on his feet. And a good return by the Lions, Jacob Bartosh. And good field position again for Lackawanna Trail up near midfield.
Cafe Rinaldi Restaurant, Main Street, Old Forge, always serving up the best Italian cuisine, including their award-winning white risotto. Plan your banquets as well as in their banquet room. Cafe Rinaldi is a proud sponsor of Old Forge football. Go Blue Devils.
I hope the restaurants are open late tonight and making me hungry. Inside give, this is Gumbel into the open. We might have a shootout here tonight at Old Forge. Gumbel carrying a Blue Devil in, and it's a Lackawanna Trail touchdown. What is going on here tonight in the pizza capital of the world?
What we're seeing is two offenses trying to get some points. Look at this. Great job with that buck sweep. He just sees daylight. He just punches that in. A little stiff arm right there. Come on, get in there. And he does it.
Olshinsky couldn't pull it down. Gumbel goes in for the score. Boric on for the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. And with 11:19 in the second, we're now tied at 14. This is going to be a good one here tonight in Lackawanna County. Big play after big play, and we're tied at 14 here in Old Forge.
Well, Bob, that started again with a rugby scrum that went for an extra 11 yards on that kickoff return.
They kick it short. Holtzman could be deadly at that position. His great speed, and he fights through. Good job by the Lions special teams to stop him up near the 40-yard line.
Well, neither team right now with their kicking is going deep. That ball was at the 22. He does a nice job. I thought they had him here. Watch this little burst and spin. Nice job. He comes up in there. The special teams on both teams need to be cleaned up for these guys to go deeper in the playoffs.
It looks like both defenses, Coach, on their heels a little bit, trying to figure out what each other's offenses are trying to do.
Well, the thing, Bob, with the wing T is the Blue Devils are being a little bit shooting the gun a little bit too soon. They've got to be a little bit more patient with the misdirection.
Spindler ripped down. Nice job up front. The big offensive line, sophomore Calistano. The 5'11", 255-pounder brings him down. 1 yard gain, that's it. For the most part, the Lions have done a nice job controlling the run game of Old Forge. It was just that big play pass.
That was nice to see, again, being a well-balanced team. Again, wing T, you don't think of passing a lot. They're trying to establish that, and they've had great success, especially that touchdown pass.
Sobel, ton of time, short, low pass, and it's going to be caught by Lincheski off the ground. It's a perfect Storm Renovations first down, a gain of 11.
He's got some velocity on this ball, but he throws it down low. He knew his receiver was going to go down for that, and that's where the experience having seniors, a quarterback, senior receiver like that, they know where the ball's going to be placed.
14th catch for the senior. We're right at midfield. Spindler behind the offensive line, inside Lions territory, inside the 46.
Santino Crappa in there leading the way. They just go with that pull play right in there. You see Santino right there, 52, 56. They're getting it done up there for him. Again, nice to be able to go 2nd and 5. That opens up your playbook a little bit easier.
Saw some running tonight, I think one time from Sobel. He's still giving it to Spindler. He hasn't taken it himself yet.
I think that's going to be something they're going to do later on. We're going to keep feeding, so let's keep feeding them. Spindler, keep getting them ball, get the ball in his hand, keep them hot.
Spindler again looking for a little bit of a hole. He finds it. He's going to be short of the line to gain for a first, about a half yard short, I think. Give him 5.
Nice job in here. Snap was a little high, and then you see number 51, that's Andrew Santaserio, pulling on there, the 5'11", 260-pound senior that was pulled from his tackle position all the way across.
Coach Schuback, 21st season, calls the plays. 177 wins in 21 years. Here's the blitz. Sobel. It's going to be close, right at the line. I think he got it by a foot. So it's a perfect Storm Renovations first down inside the 40.
Sobel looks like he's limping a little bit there. See if he got a little bit rolled up on there. Big number 72 there. Cooper Patterson, the linebacker, came flying in on that blitz because they knew it was going to be a quarterback keep.
A lot of freshmen playing for the Lions and playing very well here tonight. Sobel over the middle and almost picked off. Looking for Holtzman. but Hunter Patterson was right there and almost picked it off.
Oh, I love this angle. Great job. Thank you, camera guys, production guys. You saw that right there, number 4. It just bounced right off his hands in there. Hunter Patterson. We said, though, Patterson brothers were going to be really active, and they really are. That just showed you how great of a job scheme-wise that the linebacker dropped to his hook to curl zone, and the quarterback had to throw over him.
So coach is trying to mix up the offense. Let's see if they go back to the run. They're going to stay with the air, and it's going to be a screen pass. Spindler with room. Brought down, but it's a perfect storm. Renovations first down. Kimmel just tripped him up. Gain of 13.
Nice job, the offensive line, 1,000, 1,000. They release. That's what they're taught to do, and then get downfield. Look at the key block right there by number, he's right back at 52. And I said his name earlier, Santino Crappa.
Looked like Dunmore ran a lot of successful screen passes last year on film, and I think that's what might see Coach Schuback do a little bit more tonight.
I think so, with the inexperience of their defensive line being so young, and they're just going to be charging upfield. It's a great way to counter that.
Spindler over the middle, and it's off the turf. Holtzman couldn't pull it in. James throwing a little bit low, I've heard this season on watching some film and talking to some coaches, and that one was low as well.
That's something that, Bobby, you were asking me about earlier about. Look at where the linebackers are. Again, I keep talking about where they're dropping into hook to curl. Great job. But finish my thought on that is if college quarterbacks see that he's always throwing low, they're going to pass on him. So, and I don't mean that as a pun, that it's just he's got to get that ball up, especially if you're going to have 6'2", 6'3" receivers out there.
So second and long now facing Old Forge. We're tied almost midway through this second quarter. Gonna stay in the air. Sobel gonna go long down the middle of Holtzman, and just off the fingertips of the senior in the end zone. Litwin on the coverage.
That's the kind of balls that college coaches want to see. That long ball down there with velocity, tight spiral. That's actually really good placement. Just went right through his hands. I like how Coach Schuback right now is saying, hey, Coach Jervis and the Lackawanna Trail, we're not afraid to go deep. We're going downtown on you.
Well, you're inside the 30 at the 27. It's 2-down territory. You're not in field goal range or anything. So you have a couple plays here. So you want to pick up half the distance or a little bit more and make it fourth and manageable if you're the Blue Devils. They're going to stay with the pass. Sobel over the middle. Good cut to Lisetsky, and he's in for an 0-4 touchdown, 27-yard strike from James Sobel. That was a nice slant play, Coach.
I always say that this is the toughest play, and they were blitzing that time. The slant is the toughest play to defend on there. You see that their D-back number 10 was chasing them the entire time. And again, I love it that Matt Lisetsky on that play showed what he can do for the Old Devils, the Blue Devils.
Isaiah Rodriguez, the sophomore, PAT. Good leg, good kick, but it's off the mark. So we'll stay 6 on the board. We're at 20-14. It's time now to find some smiles in the crowd. Coach, Dr. Todd Smilecam with Amanda.
That's right. Our first Dr. Todd Smile Cam of the night is brought to you by the Old Forge 8-team cheerleaders. Joining me now are Manaya and Ange and all of their friends. But they have a lot to be proud of. They just brought home a championship at their last competition.
Yeah, North Pocono.
So what did you guys do in that competition and how did you finish?
We did Hello Chair, chant, and dance routine. And we finished with our dance routine.
Nice. And can you guys tell me what's going on here tonight at homecoming and what did your teams participate in?
We participated in the parade, which we did a lot of things in. We cheered. We participated also in Spirit Week, which is where we all dress up, and we also did the pep rally, which is a whole bunch of fun games.
Well, thank you, girls, for having us. If you want to do a little cheer, go ahead.
Oh, we'll cheer there.
Hello, my brother and I. Attention!
Anybody know where Amanda is?
Nice job.
The young Amanda. Those Dr. Todd smile cams are always very interesting. Rodriguez tees it up. Another kickoff. Now, between these two teams, 6-point advantage. This one's low lining and will go out of bounds. And so Lions now will have good field position.
Well, at least they didn't have a chance to get that at midfield with the return. So I understand why Coach Schuback said, let's just kick it out of bounds. So get it to 35. Here's the touchdown. Watch this. Sobel, great job, good patience, wonderful ball. And Matt does a nice job securing that ball and finishes that up on that wonderful post pattern.
They're going to make him kick it again. So they're not going to take the 35.
That's something I've done quite a bit because kickoff teams usually are good for 1. So now if they decide to kick it deep, they're going to be a little bit winded. Your return team now should be able to execute and get better than the 35.
So Rodriguez will tee it up again. Douglas and Gumble back to receive at their 20. This was a high kick. Douglas from his 20 slips and falls right there. And maybe Coach Jervis should have taken it at the 35. Well, you know, sometimes that happens.
It does, and the field's a little bit slick. Again, we're playing on natural grass out there, so with the condensation and the cool nights we've had, it actually ends up being a little bit slippery.
So 15-yard advantage for Old Forge, and there you see the two Jervises. I'd ask them, both of them, do they talk football off the field? And I've heard coaches and fathers say, no, we stay away from it. But they were very adamant. They like to talk football. That keeps the relationship going.
Well, there's actually 3 generations of Jervises on the sideline. Steve's father, Steve, works with the special teams with the kickers. So they do like talking football. It's what keeps the dinner table lively. I'm sure, you know, all the X's and O's stuff stays at the office. Nice job. Just come back with that inside handoff to the fullback.
Did your son ever play for you?
I had two of my sons did play, and it was difficult. And the worst part was we were at a passing scrimmage down at Wilkes, and my son got tackled. Again, it was just a passing scrimmage, and I told him to get up. He's embarrassing me, and he actually had a broken ankle.
Oh, Gumbo hit in the backfield, a big loss. Whole host of Blue Devils coming in. Spindler in there. Holtzman. They're all in there. Kranko.
Nice job reading that. The defensive line reestablished the line of scrimmage behind the original line of scrimmage. That's why they got such great flow in there from the linebackers and dropped them for a loss.
Actually, number 10, Tim Ruby, a junior, was the first guy on the spot. So 3rd and long now facing the Lions. Scored on their last 2 possessions. To the corner, no one there, trying to get to Litwin, and the Lions now will be forced to punt deep in their own side of the field.
You saw the slide protection from the offensive line right from the get start. There was no one there, and actually smartly threw it away.
So there should be good field position for Old Forge. Colino and Holtzman back on the Lions side of the field. This is Kimmel with the kick. High kick. They let it hit. And it looks like we're playing that midfield tonight, Coach. Right at the 50 is where it will be down. So a short field now for Old Forge, up 6 midway through this second quarter. And it's been a very entertaining first 17 minutes or so.
Especially the second quarter, we've seen it go back and forth. Right now, Coach Schuback has got to feel good about his field position, right? And he's going to have to tell these guys, and I know in the back of his head, he wants to get another one in because he has to kick the ball off to Lackawanna Trail.
They're coming off a 47-20 loss here to Lakeland. And Lakeland is our #1 Friday Night Rivals team in the area, one of the top AA teams in the state. They also got beat up by Western Wayne, who's right near the top, and they are the #1 team in 3A. So these two teams not afraid to play bigger schools this year.
Again, that's what makes them so tough and formidable every single year.
As Spindler shoots through, it's a perfect storm renovations, a gain of 17.
Well, we knew Josh Spindler was going to be he was our player of the game to start, and you're just seeing how good of a running back he is. Lower.
Here we go. Spindler again, short gain up to the 30. So just 3 yards, so Spindler over 100 yards already here in the first half.
RPO right there with the pull right there by number, again, I keep saying it, number 52, Santino Croppa coming in there, lead blocking for him.
Spindler's high this year. He ran for 148 and 2 touchdowns against Dunmore. That was the first game of the year, and that was a wild one as well. 46-43 was the score. Dunmore kind of surprised some people. Didn't know what to expect from the Bucks this year, but it looks like they're going to be maybe the 2nd seed or 1st seed in AA. They're playing very good football. RPO. Holtzman hit hard, knocked back. Douglas in there, and 3rd down on the way.
Demetrius Douglas does a nice job being patient, gets off the block, and then makes the tackle with help from number 76, Gary Shaw.
This is small school, Pennsylvania high school football at its best. And we have some good schools in our area. Of course, Canton went to the finals last year. Canton is the team that came all the way back to beat Old Forge last year. Old Forge in that quarterfinal game, semifinal Class A game, was up 21-0 at one point, and Canton came all the way back. The Warriors went to the finals. Sobel keeps it. Sobel rumbles up near the 21, and he has a perfect storm renovations 1st down.
Bobby, you had said earlier we haven't seen too much of James Sobel's feet. Well, right here, a perfect job in here with the RPO. Number 51 now is pulling on that. That's Andrew Santasario doing a nice job getting that in there for that 1st down for the Blue Devils.
Almost feel like the offensive line is starting to wear down Lackawanna Trail here. The Lions defense playing a lot in this 2nd quarter.
And again, these young men, because there's not a lot of depth on the sidelines, they go both ways. It's going to be a really a battle of attrition.
Sobel again, Patterson, the older Patterson, takes him down, gain of 3. So a nice drive here for the Blue Devils towards the end of the first half.
You saw 51 and 77 that time. Khalil Rose, we haven't said his name too much offensively because he's an anchor. He always gets his job done, but we've called his name more defensively. That time, they pulled the whole entire right side of the line for lead blocking for Sobel.
Lackawanna Trail will get the second half kick, but they like to hold this team to just 3. Spindler ripped down by Cooper Patterson. Short gain on this one. 3rd and about 5 on the way.
Lucas Evans, the freshman, 6'1", 245, he was in there also. And Coach Jervis and his staff, they really are playing a lot of young kids, and they're gaining valuable experience that's going to pay dividends in the future. And I've said that earlier, but the future's now, and these kids are really showing that they don't look like freshmen playing out there.
Both teams have their full allotment of timeouts left. That'll be 3 apiece. It's a nice moving football game. Under 90 seconds to play. Spindler, little cut back inside the 10. It's a perfect Storm Renovations first down. First and goal, Old Forge, inside the Allied Services red zone.
And we have a Lackawanna Trail player down right now. They just do the RPO, and again, they full block up there. They pull Santino Crappa again up inside, and Spindler, that time, he actually used number 30, what's that, 34.
Yeah. Blake Stage, I think, is also the lion down, as Spindler fell on top of him.
And that he probably got the wind knocked out of him. Now,
So
I know Blake Stage, his father's also the defensive coordinator for the Lions.
So here's what the Blue Devils faced this year. We've talked about it a little bit. 3 losses already coming in, but a favorable schedule the rest of the way. Of course, always that big game with Riverside. You never know how it goes.
Again, Susquehanna, they're always, you never know. Holy Cross, they should handle them. Riverside, big-time rivalry. And Carbondale, if they have their running back, watch out. I know he missed that. I don't know his name, but he's a really good running back for them. He missed a couple of games, and he came back 2 weeks ago against Tunkhannock.
So you think whoever wins tonight might have home field advantage come for this championship game November 5th?
Absolutely, and we want, and right now, Coach Schubeck and every Blue Devil fan wants that game here because this crowd's going to get even bigger. We have a great crowd tonight on hand, and going to Tunnel Hill in November. Yeah. They call it Tunnel Hill for a reason.
Tunnel Cold is more like it. I mean, it could snow up there and do whatever. So we still have a Lions player down on the field, and that's the holdup here. 1:14 left before the half.
Tomorrow is college football Saturday on Fox. Kickoff is at noon with Jim Harbaugh's number 4 Michigan Wolverines taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Get your fill of college football tomorrow only on Fox 56.
Stage is up, and like you say, might have the wind knocked out of him. He's taking a little bit. Penn State tomorrow is Northwestern, first Big Ten home game of the year, and had a chance this week to talk to Dom DeLuca and Tyler Elson, both 570 area code, North Schuylkill and Wyoming area, both getting a lot of playing time on the defense with the Lions this year. You see Stage walking off, a little banged up. Good to see our local players having a lot of success with Penn State this year.
Holy smokes. I mean, when you think about it, Penn State, Happy Valley, they're recruiting from Florida, Georgia, all the Southern, and then all of a sudden we have 2 kids locally that are making an impact up there with Coach Franklin and the Nittany Lions. It's awesome.
We've also had players from these 2 teams go play Division II and Division III football and be very successful. Some even playing in the PSAC. Spindler shooting for the end zone for the second time. Still on his feet, and he's in. Tough running from the senior. It's a 9-yard touchdown, and Old Forge extends their lead.
Great effort there by Spindler on there. We were talking about Penn State, his favorite college team is Penn State. Watch this determination and grit that he has, especially right here. Just keep those legs driving, and he reaches that ball in there for that touchdown that put them up 26-14.
Short field, Forge takes advantage of it. Low snap, kick is up. He missed the last one, and this one is good from Rodriguez. And it's 26-14 now, 1 minute and 1 second left here in the first half. Old Forge now with 13 unanswered points.
Spindler, another. I love the different angles. You just see him getting in there. He's got 3 Trail Lions on him, and he's just trying that determination and grit, getting that ball in the end zone.
So an 8-play, 50-yard drive for Old Forge. It's capped by a Spindler touchdown, and it's a 13-point lead as the Lions will have a full allotment of timeouts left. Hopefully maybe get good field position. They might be able to put something in before the half and go 2 for 1 because they will get the ball to begin the third quarter. Coming up at the half in the Toyota Halftime Report, we'll check in with the Fox 56 News first at 10 and see what's coming up on tonight's tune. News on Fox 56. Amanda will have a special interview with our sponsor, Allied Services. And then Jan and I will be back here in the booth, give you some highlights and stats from the first half. That's coming up in the Toyota Halftime Report. Trail would like to get good field position on this kick. Oh, it's a little squibber. Almost like an onside kick. Good coverage by the Lions. They may have expected that. Looked like number 52 pulled it in, Coach.
That's.
But let's go down to Amanda first with a special guest. Alumni all over the place tonight here in Old Forge.
That's right, Bob. Joining me now is Ethan Tallow. You've seen him on the sidelines with Old Forge last year. You saw him on our dream game, and now he's back. He's a freshman at East Stroudsburg University on their football team. But Ethan, what's it like to come back on a Friday night and watch your old team play?
It's really cool, and just to be an alumni kind of shocks my mind. But to see these kids I grew up with all the time play right now, it's truly a blessing, and it's a great thing to see.
How's it going at East Stroudsburg for you? I know you're a tight end on the football team there.
Honestly, out of this world. Met a great group of guys. The entire team's just a fantastic group of people, and it's just a fun overall time.
Awesome. Well, Ethan, good luck with your season. And Bob, Jan, back to you.
Thank you, Amanda. Bob, you just mentioned that earlier, how we have so many kids playing in the PSAC and Division III schools around here. That's wonderful.
From a small school like Old Forge, like from Lackawanna Trails had people play at the higher level.
And that's where the longevity of these coaches, that's where the connections are made from Division III all the way up to Division I. And it's just so neat that you can say to a coach, give him a chance, he's worth taking a shot at. And these kids will produce for those schools.
2 alumni on the coaching staff with Coach Schuback, including his son Shane, who recently got married. Congratulations to him. Of course, we followed him through his days.
Yes, we did.
So after the timeout, let's see what Coach Jervis wants to do. Do you try to put one up in the air?
I think they're going to go for it. There's nothing to lose at this point because they know they're going to get the ball back. So let's try to get something to gain even more momentum to start the second half.
In the shotgun, just as we say it. Jervis going to go on a little wheel route to Gumball and is well overthrown. Good job on the coverage by Nico Colino, the senior, and it goes incomplete.
I like the mismatch here. That with him, just a difference in size, but the ball just was overthrown. The route wasn't run properly. And I know Coach Golden will take care of that. He's the receiver coach for the Lions.
A little quick snap to Patterson. And let's see if Coach calls timeout. I think he does. He'll bring up 4th down. There's a flag down. We haven't had much of those tonight.
I haven't seen that. Might be the first
second.
one. Second one, okay.
Yeah. Let's see if we see what the penalty is. Might be a holding in there.
I like the play. Quick hitter. Here we go.
Oh, face mask against Old Forge, so big break there for the Lions. Puts it inside Blue Devil territory to the 44, and up quickly come the Lions. After the face mask, clock running in the 35. Quick little to Litwin, trying to get some space. Does he get out of bounds? No, they say no, he was in bounds. Still in bounds, they want a timeout. They still have it. They do. They finally call a timeout. Maybe wasted a little bit. 16 seconds left. And that was close. He was in bounds, though.
He was. We saw on that, it was 4th and 1 with that face mask. So 4th and 1 is what was coming up, and then they got that face mask, keep this drive alive.
Yeah, they got the perfect storm renovations off the face mask and came up quickly. Still room. The ball's at the 38-yard line. 16 seconds left. Down to one timeout are the Lions. So chance maybe to go over the middle, or out to the end line. I guess you want to be, or maybe break a run because that seems to work tonight.
That double reverse, it wouldn't surprise me. And I like the speed that Max Kimmel has. So he's that threat inside. And I like the Lucas Gumbel does a nice job with his runs. So I think they might even go with Litwin at the wide receiver because he's a little bit taller than number 30 for Old Forge, Nico Colino, 5'5".
Jervis going to roll, stops. Down the middle they do, go to Litwin. He makes a turn. It was thrown over the wrong shoulder. And Litwin had a little bit of a step on Holtzman out there, but it falls incomplete.
Jervis rolling right, pumps it, and gets that downfield. Again, a little bit of miscommunication with the receiver there. He was going across, then he had to spin back to the outside. He's a first-year quarterback, so he's going to be trying to make things happen.
Here comes the blitz. Jervis back, trying to set up a screen. Oh, it would have worked perfectly, too. Patterson dropped it, or he had some blockers out in front.
Well, on the screenplay, the offensive line is supposed to give a 2 count. That was more like a 1 count. So Jervis really couldn't get his feet set to drop back further to get that pass completed.
Okay, officially, let's look at this one. It's 4th down coming up.
You see the 2 blue jerseys right in his face too soon. But the offensive line, they did a great job getting downfield where they should be.
Okay, now it's 3 seconds left, so now you really have to go for the end zone. Or try to do something short and try to break it. But they want to reset the clock. So it's going to go to 6 seconds on the clock. And a timeout by Coach Jervis on the far side. Next week, we're back in the Wyoming Valley Conference Division I style. We have a good one. Big rivalry between Crestwood and Hazleton area. And that's our first regular season trip to Hazleton in our almost 15 years of doing high school football here on MyTV. And Coach, you have a game update. Dallas is playing Hazleton, Crestwood playing Wilkes-Barre, 2 big games.
Well, earlier I was surprised. It was 21-0 Dallas over Hazleton.
Both
Crestwood was winning 12-7. I'm trying to get the latest update, and hopefully we'll have that to you before the...
Well, that is a huge lead for the Mountaineers over an undefeated Cougar team, especially at home.
The update, Dallas 35, Hazleton 6. And 38-7, Crestwood over Wilkes-Barre.
Well, Dallas is an outright favorite now in 4A. Jervis goes high, and it is intercepted by Holtzman from the 5. And he couldn't bring it back, and he's down at the 25, and that's how this very exciting first half ends. Here in the pizza capital of the world, it is the Blue Devils over the Lions, 27-14, but we have a flag down, so hold up. We have a flag down. If it goes against Old Forge, there'll be 1 play left, right, Coach?
Correct, on time down.
It does go against Old Forge. So it was a sideline warning, and that will end the first half. Both teams going into the respective locker rooms. Amanda trying to catch up to Coach Schuback. And we'll hear how this first half went. 13 unanswered points in the second quarter for Old Forge. Let's go down to Amanda now.
That's right. Coach, started out a little slow, 2 punts to start the game. How did the offense start to turn it around, and when did they start to click?
Well, both teams are feeling each other out. A very good football team we're playing. We have a lot of experience playing against each other, so we kind of know what each of us are doing. But right now we made a couple big plays more than they did, but they're still capable of making big plays, so we got to control that.
What's the message to your team at the half? I know one of the keys of the game was limiting those big plays. So what's the message to your team?
Well, cliche 0-0. You got to come out and you got to stop them now. We put ourselves in a hole with a penalty after the turnover, so now we just have to really gut it out. They're very good at scoring on their opening drive in the third quarter. They're very well coached, so we have to do our best to not let that happen.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck. Guys, back to you.
Old Forge has it rolling. They lead here on homecoming, 27-14. Coming up next, the Toyota halftime report here on MyTV.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Tom Hesser Dealerships on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome back to halftime on Friday Night Rivals. Amanda Cool here, joined now by Jeff Snyder from Allied Services. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Jeff, can you tell me about what you do here at Allied and what is your position?
Okay. I'm Jeff Snyder. I'm an Assistant Vice President here at Allied Services, and I oversee our Behavioral Health Division, our Vocational Services, and our Waiver Coordination.
That's a lot all in one. Can you tell me exactly what you do with all three and what each one is?
Okay, our Behavioral Health Division serves individuals with serious mental illness. There's a whole continuum of care when you come out of the state hospital, and we help you through all those stages to make you a more productive member of society. You come out of the state hospital, you go into a CRR, a Community Residential Rehabilitation House. There you get your medications under control. We ensure that you go to your doctor's appointments. We kind of teach you the skills, how to cook again, take you to the grocery store, make sure that you have a job, you keep that job, you go to that job, and then after that you move on to an enhanced supportive living program, which is like an apartment style house, and there's a little bit less supervision, you're a little more on your own, you're a little better off after you came out of the CRR, you're more responsible, you're ready to take on more things. And then after you graduate from that, you go into the supportive living program. And there you have your own apartment, your own home. So then you only have to have us maybe once a week or once a month just to check in and make sure that everything is going well.
When you talk about us, tell me about the positions that you have in that behavioral health division.
Okay, we have mental health workers, we have residential counselors, program supervisors, and then once you graduate out of that, you would have a supportive living caseworker. So we have all those positions available. We are in 4 different counties. We are in Bradford County, Schuylkill County, Lackawanna County, and Luzerne County.
Awesome. How would somebody go about applying for one of those positions?
You would just go to alliedservices.org and look for the career link, click on that, and then you can apply from there.
Jeff, every week we've talked to an employee from Allied and everybody has said they have loved working here. For you, what is it that is that one thing that is so rewarding for you?
Seeing that we make a difference in people's lives every day.
Awesome. Jeff, thank you so much. We'll be right back with highlights from tonight's game as well as the second half coming up.
I'm Bill Conboy. I'm President and CEO of Allied Services Integrated Healthcare System. On behalf of our 3,500 employees, we are thrilled to once again be a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. I grew up in this community and I know what high school football means to this community. We wish all the parents, the students, and the staff the best of luck in the coming football season.
On behalf of Allied Services, we present the Old Forge School District and Athletic Director Dan Mozaleski a check for $250 on behalf of Allied Services and MyTV WQMY. We bring it back into the booth now. Bob and Jan enjoying a very entertaining first half of Class A football in District 2. 41 total points scored, 13 points scored for Old Forge in that second quarter. That broke it up. It's 27-14 at the half.
Boy, they've been battling back and forth. We thought the first quarter they were feeling each other out. 4 punts, I believe, in a row?
3.
3 punts right in a row, and then all of a sudden they settled in, they started figuring it out, and they started scoring.
And big plays have been a part
huge.
of that. We have big runs and big passes.
They've been, and I'll tell you what, Sobel, we thought we were hoping to see what he could do, what he's done in the past, and he's showing everybody how good of a quarterback he is.
Well, we came in saying Old Forge had the tougher schedule coming in. It seems like it's played out that way. They're wearing down a younger Lions team.
They really are, and we talk about the numbers and the size difference and the experience that Old Forge has over Lackawanna Trail. It's starting to show, and by the fourth quarter, I think this game could get out of hand if they just keep pounding the ball like they're doing.
Well, let's take a look at some first half highlights, and as we said, 3 punts in a row, and then it turned on the Jets, the first score of the night, where the Lions, they took a 7-0 lead, and then Spindler went to work.
And you see right here, he just broke through. They did a great job with that inside handoff, and he just had a 44-yard, that answer to Lackawanna Trail touchdown right there. Comes back now. Sobel, let's go to the air. Air Sobel right here. Look at this. Perfect job right there to
Colino.
number 30, Colino. And he just turns the Jets on, gets in there. I love the effort there by Kimmel, though.
76-yard touchdown on that strike.
Now the Lions are going to work in it. And who do we see? Number 20 coming at us, Lucas Gumbel coming right into our screen. The players of the game are the ones that have been the difference makers for both teams.
51-yard score on that one, but Sobel again to the air.
And look at that. Oh, my gosh. I love the great strike there to number 11. Matt Lesensky, again, now let's go back to work. And who do we go to? Watch the second and third effort here by Sobel. Just getting in there. Excuse me. Not Sobel.
Spindler.
Spindler. I'm getting my S's confused tonight with all the scoring.
So Sobel has 2 strikes through the air. Spindler 2 rushes on the ground for touchdowns, and that's been the difference. 27-14 at the half is your score. It's homecoming on the field. King in the court. We see a lot of football players out there. As far as the king in the court, looks like Casey Holtzman, one of our spotlight players. He'll be our scholar athlete coming up soon, I should say. He has taken homecoming king, and whoever he was with, we'll get her name later. She's homecoming queen. I think Amanda's going to track her down a little bit later on. So congratulations to them. And this is what high school football is all about. We love seeing the homecoming. We love being a part of it.
And again, the crowd's into it. They had a beautiful parade to start the game. They announced what each kid's going to be doing in their futures, the boys and the girls. It's awesome to see this high school tradition carries on.
We'll take a break. Both teams, when we come back, will be on the field, and we'll get the second half underway of Friday Night Rivals football. Nice crowd on hand here in the pizza capital of the world. Of course, our crew and I had some pizza before the game. You have to have Old Ford-style pizza when you're in the capital of the world of pizza.
Well, it went in Rome, right?
Yeah.
It was the Romans, too. But
yep. And a good game so far. So a lot of great games. We're getting down towards the tail end of the season. We'll look at district standings in the second half. But right now, our Friday Night Rivals top 10, really much the top 6 hasn't changed in a while. Hazelton looks like they're down big tonight to Dallas. I think Dallas may jump really big tonight. If they beat Hazelton, they're way they're beating them now. Loyal Sox winning. Crestwood is winning. Scranton is winning as well. And Canton, too. So nice top 10 in there. I think Lakeland, though, to me, they're playing so well right now, and they're not even getting tested tonight by a good Honesdale team.
No, and Honesdale has some size, but they're young up front all the way across. I caught the Jersey Shore score. They were up 65-0 over a charter school that they were playing.
Is that executive education, maybe? But yes, they put up a lot of 60s on the board tonight.
Again, that's a great top 10 there. And how about Scranton coming in, being 5-0? Coach Chumbers, we're looking and going, wow, what did he put in the water down there?
So there's our Friday night top 10. You can watch it every Tuesday night with Amanda and myself on the Fox 56 News, first at 10. So as we mentioned, coming down to the second half of this season, district standings, 2A right now coming up. Lakeland, the clear favorite. Dunmore, the big surprise. Wouldn't be surprised, Coach, if we see those two playing for the championship in mid-November, around November 11th.
And Coach McHale, great job. He's endured the storm up there at Dunmore. He's starting to get that program back where it's been. Susquehanna, like we said, is always you don't hear much about them. they'll have great years, and then they'll have the down years. But again, Riverside, Holy Redeemer, they're having a great year this year. Mid Valley, we knew that they lost a ton of talented kids last year.
So Lakeland and Dunmore still have to meet, though. They have not played, so we'll see how that one plays out. So we'll keep rolling through them while we're waiting for both teams to come on the field. Old Forge coming out late after homecoming festivities, and there's 3A. And right now, you know, Western Wayne kind of surprising a lot of people up there with Coach Wolf. Prep finally turning things around, playing well in Paul Pack tomorrow.
And they're Western Wayne. Coach Wolf, you had said, Bob, he does such a great job. They are so steady, and they're really on track being 4-1. Prep, we knew everybody was hoping and wanted to see London Montgomery. I heard he had his surgery done this week, so he's hopefully doing well and he'll be on the mend. But Scranton Prep, 2 losses in there that we wouldn't have expected.
But Prep, remember, playing in Division I with the bigger schools. Western Wayne playing in Division II with these, middle schools.
Middle
not
schools.
The small
I want to say smaller, but
yeah. And how about Dallas now? The clear favorites.
Oh.
They already beat They've already beaten Crestwood. They don't play Valley View. So the way they are beating Hazleton area tonight puts them out in front, I think, as we go towards the end of the season.
Especially with our top 10, they are going to be jumping up because of how well they're playing. I didn't think they would be basically blowing Hazleton out at this point, but they really are. They're doing a great job. Coach Manello, Coach Arcangeli, you talk to him, he's cut from the same cloth as Coach Manello. We know Coach Hawanitz is his last season here. Coach Dolan up there, he said they haven't been playing very well. Honesdale, I'm really, really impressed with what Coach Russick's done up there. In Wyoming area, they were due to have a down year.
They're young.
They are, and they've been up so like the last few years that there was a time they had to rebuild, and this was the year.
Okay, let's go to the second half keys now. There you see Coach Jervis. What did he tell his team at halftime? He gets the ball to begin the third quarter. What do they have to do?
He's going to tell his offensive line, let's try to maintain our leverage and let's keep our blocks and keep going. Defensively, he's going to go back to his original game plan. Let's gang tackle and no big plays. And Coach Schubeck, on the other hand, is just going to say we're going to keep grinding it out. We're going to keep feeding it to Spindler, and then Sobel's going to pull the ball and surprise you with either his arm or his legs.
Very balanced, the Blue Devils are playing, and that's what he wants going in, what could be another Class A title.
And we're looking at both these teams, and we know in November, this is like a boxing match that's starting at the end of September, beginning of October. But this is the one they're going to be looking at is going to be the one in November.
And again, fortunes have it. 2019 was the last time Trail beat them. That was in the Class A final. Since then, in the regular season, Old Forge has owned Lackawanna Trail. But again, they're both back in Class A. They're the only teams in Class A this year. They will meet, and then they go on into the playoffs. The winner does. So both teams are stretched out. We're ready for second half football. And hopefully, Lackawanna Trail will get the ball. Can they get back to what they were doing in the first quarter, running it tough and using that wing T to their advantage?
They're still in this game, so it's not really, 27-14. They come back, they score right now. It's still going to be a battle. Their defense is going to have to stop the Blue Devils.
Well, they're going to have to stop Spindler. He's over 100 yards, right? And Sobel through the air at 100?
Correct. 128 yards passing for Sobel, and Spindler has 123 on 14 carries in the first half.
So the more experienced offensive line of the Blue Devils kind of outweighing a younger Lions team that will be formidable the next couple years from now.
And Coach, the weight room is key. We've heard that week in and week out. The biggest proponent and that we always hear is from Coach Manello, about putting their big boy pants on. It starts in the weight room, and we can see the difference when these teams play, especially tonight, because we know that these kids here from Old Forge, they live in there year-round, and that's how Coach Schubeck wants his players to be.
Okay, so the penalty at the end of the first half, we never got confirmation on it, what it was. It will be assessed here on the kickoff. So you're wondering why Rodriguez is kicking from the 25. Well, that is why. So excellent field position forthcoming for the Lions, you would think, right?
Absolutely. They're going to try to kick the ball deep on this one. Again, they don't want to squib it because they're on their own side of the 50, so should go deep.
So we're underway in the third quarter here at Old Forge. The Blue Devils out in front. Taken by a Lion, Jacob Bartush, the senior. He's up past the 45 to the 46, and that's where we will see Lackawanna Trail.
Luca Restaurant is a proud sponsor of Old Forge Blue Devils, serving up the best dishes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 6 days a week. Daily specials and homemade dishes are what makes us stand out. Booking a banquet, check out our beautiful banquet room for your next event.
So Stephen Jervis back on, was off on his passing game tonight. He goes underneath center to begin this one. And here's the Blue Devils reading that from the start. And shooting in, looks like number 10 again,
Tim
Ruby.
Ruby does a great job. The junior linebacker, 6'2", 150 pounds, came right in through that B gap and just shut that play down.
A 4-yard loss on the first play of the second half for the Lions.
Not what they wanted to start doing, but again, coach is going back to what he does, the wing T. It'll wear on you. Again, it gives them the misdirection. It gives them the angle on the blocks.
Pitch to Gumbel. A lot of blue jerseys in the backfield. Somehow he escapes and he gains 3. That could have been a disaster.
What I like seeing there was number 77, Khalil Rose, come flying up from his defensive end position and forced him back inside. But Bob, you said it. There's a lot of blue jerseys, 1, 2, 3, and he comes in, he scrapes it outside to gain a tough 3.5 yards.
So a 3rd and long facing the Lions. Old Forge has come out aggressive here in the third quarter. Jervis under pressure. Nowhere to go for the junior, and he's taken down for the first sack of the game for the Blue Devils. Let's go down to Amanda, who had a chance to talk to Coach Jervis before the teams took the field. What did he have to say, Amanda?
That's right. When I talked to Coach Jervis, he said, the message to the team at the half was simple. He said there's 48 minutes that they have to play. He said that he wants his line to control that line of scrimmage and be a little bit tougher up front, and that's something that they really need to focus on this half. Guys, I know you said it. That line is very young for Lackawanna Trail.
Yeah, and it took a beating there.
They did, Amanda. You are correct.
Kimmel's kick is low, takes a bounce, so inside the 30 it rolls. That's where Douglas touches it, and that's where Old Forge will have it at the 27-yard line.
You're going to see number 51 come across the line here to force Jervis out right there, and then it gets cleaned up by number 52. 51 and 52 for Old Forge. Andrew Santasero and Santino Croppo, who I've said has done a great job offensively for the Blue Devils.
I really think what you're seeing is just the experience. A lot of seniors on this Old Forge team and a lot of inexperience and younger underclassmen playing for the Lions. And we have a timeout for Lackawanna Trail with 9:44 left. It was a 3-and-out for the Lions. Old Forge now trying to build on that lead. So the Lions, too, headed to division play. Next week, they will host Riverside, then Carbondale, then they have 2 Saturday games in a row to end the season at Holy Cross and at Susquehanna.
And, sometimes you would think that extra day of preparation will help. I found that it was more of a hindrance than it was a help because the kids are used to a schedule. They're used to playing Friday night. and to try to play on a Saturday, sometimes teams come out sluggish, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for Trail.
Well, think about the last games of Saturday. That Friday, most likely, here maybe, they'll have to play Old Forge for the Class A title.
And again, they want to be sharp those last 2 games on a Saturday. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It's a uphill battle. Okay, they're down here by 13. Let's see what Old Forge has. Back to the 100-yard gainer. Spindler powers up. He's nice gain of 6, brought down by Lackawanna Trail's number 34, and that is Stage. Blake Stage, who was hurt in the first half. Good to see him back.
Again, he's a transfer from Tunkhannock. He went over to Trail because, again, he lives in right on the border, and he wanted to play for his father, and he's really showed his grit there, getting knocked down that first half and coming right back up and playing tough football for the Lions.
Back to Spindler. Going to be short of the line to gain by about a yard. So Das Spindler, last year 605 total yards and 7 touchdowns for the senior. Been that lead back for a couple seasons. Remember, Dietz was here last year too, Exagaya. So, you know, they always have a big back here. Up quickly come the Blue Devils. The big quarterback off the left side. He's going to have a figure law firm first down by a half a yard. Well, you can see the strategy there for the Blue Devils.
Yes, you could. And Coach, I was watching, he did a quick count with that. They had him line up really quick. And if you notice Sobel, he didn't go into his A gap. He went to BC, he went wide to make sure he could get that first down.
So Holtzman now, the sidecar. Holtzman, 5'8", senior, has speed. If he gets to the outside, it'll be tough to get. Good job by the Lions to track him down. That's number 10, Isaac Ryan, a freshman, who does a great job taking him down after a 5-yard gain.
And Lucas Gumbel in there pursuing relentlessly to make that tackle, to make sure that he was down. Great cutback. He's got great speed. Number 10 and number 20, they wrapped him up.
So freshman Ryan, 9 total tackles and an interception coming in. You saw he had speed on the closing out on Holtzman.
We talked about the future being bright for the Trail Lions, and they're really, really fighting tooth and nail.
Holtzman, he breaks through, makes a move to the outside with a blocker. The senior still on his feet to the 5. "56-yard gain for Casey Holtzman from the backfield."
Watch this end zone shot. He just comes right into your screen and makes 1, 2 Lions miss, 3 Lions. And he's going, got a lead blocker, 21. Number 23 comes in. Again, 2 missed blocks right there. Number 4 with his touchdown saving tackle right there.
Hunter Patterson.
Hunter Patterson. We've called his name a lot tonight.
The offense starting to click for the Blue Devils. 1st and goal from the 5 inside the Allied Services red zone for Old Forge. The last 13 points have been scored by the Blue Devils. Can they add on to that? It was 14-all in the second quarter, but since then it's been all Old Forge. Spindler fumbles. Lackawanna Trail has it at the 2. Oh my. The handoff exchange was definitely off, and the ball went flying into the Lions.
It looked like it went off Spindler's knee. Let's see. No, he just dropped it, and then it popped off his knee.
Can't see who recovered that.
No.
But no matter what, the Lions have the ball. Boy, deep, though, in their own territory, about the 4. But still.
Here we go. Let's see if we can see who recovers that ball. The ball was stretched out. He never really got that ball. The quarterback's got to take that step into it. You see the ball flying out. Number 23?
Yeah.
83
Kimmel?
or 23?
No.
Probably 23.
Probably 23, Kimmel. Okay. Now chance our Lions move, so, well, it's not too bad. You only get half the distance to the goal, but.
False start. Number 72 White. It'll be half the distance. Still first.
Cooper Patterson, the freshman. Coach likes him. Said, watch out for the 6'1", 200-pounder. He's a tough kid. He's going to be a player we talk about for the years to come.
Yes, he is. And we're going to be talking about all these Lion players pretty much that are playing right now for next year and the following year.
Maybe a yard or two for Patterson.
Well, you just go with that quick hitter with your fullback in there because you don't have really the time to mesh it up in there and try to get that misdirection that the wing T is known for.
No gain on the play. Oh, I take back 2-yard gain because they're back to the original line of scrimmage.
Be interested to see if Coach Baradelli dials up a blitz in here to really put pressure on him, possibly get a safety.
Well, the defense playing a lot better so far this year, giving up 27 points per game for 04. There's a chance here to stop the Lions after the fumble. Gimmel can't get back to the 5.
Yep, they pulled it. Number 62 coming at you, Brian Axtell, 6'2", 210-pound freshman. That's what I like about seeing what Coach Jervis is doing with this offense. He's not afraid to let a young kid do the lead blocking for him because they've got to.
That was actually Lucas Gumbel on the carry. So 3rd and long now facing this Lions team. Second guy through to the outside, up to the 10, so at least there's room to punt. That was Max Gimmel, and I think he'll go back to punt now. So good stop by Old Forge after they fumbled.
They go with that buck sweep in there with the wide sweep, number 23, Max Kimmel. I really like how this kid, he's going to develop into a really good one for Coach Jervis and the Lions.
Let's see if they go after this kick. Gimmel is the punter. He's going to back up really close to the end line. He's in the end zone. Good snap, good kick. They're going to set it up. And takes a bounce on the grass, and it lands right at the Lions' 39-yard line, and that's where the offense comes back out for the Blue Devils. Still up by 13, 4:29 left here in the 3rd quarter. Bob Ide, Jan Cichak, and Amanda Kuhl here. Friday Night Rivals football. Next week, we'll be down on Hazelton. Crestwood taking on the Cougars. Rivalry there. So Sobel limping still coming out. So maybe that's why we don't see a lot of him running. It looks like might be an ankle or something.
He would look that way, I think, after that first series. Again, he got dinged up in there, and it's just smartly. You got Spindler, you got, a plethora of 54.
So an illegal motion, 5-yard penalty against the Blue Devils. We haven't seen a lot of penalties tonight, but pretty clean game.
I mean, you got Holtzman, you got Spindler, you got Lesensky out there, at the wide out. So there's lots of weapons in there, so it doesn't have to fall on Sobel's feet.
Spindler waits for his blocks, cuts back, and gets up to the 36. Gain of 8.
Look how patient Spindler is when he's running this ball. Comes in, he sees it, stops, cuts back. We were talking before the game, his favorite pro team is the Steelers. I asked him who his favorite pro player was, and he said Najee Harris, and you can see why. He's trying to emulate how Harris runs that ball for the Steelers and how he did at Alabama.
Dallas now leading Hazelton in the 4th, 42-6. So great defensive job against a Cougar team Let's put up big numbers here in the first half. Crestwood winning as well. Holtzman has a huge hole. Gets to the outside. Flag down, though. This one's coming back. And we have an injured player for the Lions who runs off. Number 75, Castellano. Well, this is in the area of holding.
There's 2 fouls on the play. Number 30, hold. Got 3. Number 51.
So Sanacero called with the hold. They'll take that one. That backs them up on second down.
Trying to see that in there, but a great run by Holtzman right here. Gets to the outside and smartly doesn't take the hit. He just goes out, steps out of bounds. But all for naught, it's coming back.
So Blue Devils self-destructing on this drive. They started out, they're a Lions 39. They're back to the Lions 46 now. After the hold, second down and long. Like to get some momentum with this offense as you head into division play, and Spindler slips. No gain on that one. You mentioned the field being slippery, but Spindler now limping off.
He's had a heck of a game. Now it's time for maybe these younger guys to get in there. Not that the game's put away at this point, but again, this young man, he's gotten 2 touchdowns. He's got over 128 yards. Give him some breathing room because, again, he does play defense too.
So they put Holtzman next to Spindler. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Down the long, the Holtzman, and he almost overthrew him. He makes a diving catch. They say it counts.
Way to lay out. Boy, talk about effort and determination. Casey Holtzman exemplified that on that play by laying out for that ball, pulling the ball in, making sure it's a catch.
19-yard play is a figure law first down for Old Forge.
And you saw he had tons of time to throw that. Credit the offensive line. Great slow-mo. Look at this. Awesome camera work in there, guys. Good concentration.
Good call by the ref, too. I believe it was Kevin Grassi back there. Up to the 20, goes Spindler back in. Gain of 5. So they're inside the Allied Services red zone. It's 20th rush for Spindler, season high. But again, Spindler again. Close to the line to gain, about a yard short.
He's going to need a good hot tub or ice bath tomorrow for this. He's just a workhorse in there. He's just getting banged around like a pinball in there.
Hunter Patterson, the junior, with the tackle. 3rd and short now. Spindler with the hard count.
Dead ball, encroachment. On the defense, the result will be a first down.
So it's a figure law first down for the Blue Devils, the easy way.
The easy way, and that's the youth coming out in the Lions right there. The discipline's there, but they just want to do well.
Quick snap, Holtzman. Inside the 10 to the 6. They can get a first down about the 2-yard line.
See this play in there, RPO, he just goes right off. He's got great burst. Look at outside there. The lead block right there, kicking them out. These kids from Old Forge are starting to get a little bit physical right now, and they're starting to dominate that offensive line.
Cooper Patterson, the freshman, with the tackle. They have to run one play before the end of this 3rd quarter. Do the Blue Devils. Spindler back in. He already has 2 on the ground. Can he add a 3rd? No, because he's taken down and wrestled down by Byron Axtell, the freshman, and that should do it. 3/4 in the books here in the pizza capital of the world. When we come back, can the Blue Devils extend their lead, or can the Lions hold?
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals on MyTV. WQMY, Amanda Cool here, joined by our homecoming court, our homecoming queen, and our homecoming princess. We've got Sage Tallarico and Emily Acevedo. Girls, congratulations on your new titles. Emily, I'm going to start with you. What does it mean to this community, and what were some of the things that were going on with homecoming?
Homecoming all starts off by Monday. We started Spirit Week throughout the school district, and we ended today off with a pep rally with the cheerleaders, majorettes, marching units, dance team, and then it leaded with a march all the way down to the football field tonight with all the support of family, friends, staff, and everybody, and it's crazy. It's really nice to see all the support from everyone.
And Sage, homecoming queen, what does it mean to you to be crowned queen this year?
It's really an honor. I'm super grateful for everyone who voted for me. My sisters definitely helped, like getting people to vote for me, and I'm just super grateful.
So a little cold here tonight. You girls both look beautiful in your dresses. Thank you so much. Bob, John, let's head back to you.
Congratulations, girls, and Spindler for the third time tonight finds the end zone for Old Forge, a 6-yard touchdown, and now the Blue Devils extend their lead.
Would they consider that a hat trick in football when you score 3? He's their workhorse, and again, you just see how tough he's running. And Lackawanna Trail right now is getting beat up pretty good physically, but they're not stopping. They keep fighting, they keep wanting to try to do well. But again, the experience that Old Forge has is starting to rise to the top.
And their defense for Old Forge is starting to take over as well. It was 14 all, but since then, it's been all Old Forge on the scoreboard. Rodriguez in for the extra point. Missed one tonight. This one's right, and it's off again. So 33-14 is the score. 19 straight.
Here's that run. Look at that. His escort, number 77 and 52. Nice job there by that offensive line. Khalil Rose and Santino Crappa escorting their running back into the end zone for his third touchdown of the evening.
So Coach Schubach's team pulling ahead midway through that second quarter and just being more physical with the younger Lions. Trail's offense has really been non-existent since then as well, since the long run by Gimmel.
And they've done a good job, the Blue Devils have, of being more patient now. They're not over-pursuing. They're waiting now for that wing tee, so that's why they've been able to stuff them.
There you see Spindler. Get some numbers on him. 148 against Dunmore. He's going to be close to that tonight, maybe even over it. Definitely has 3 touchdowns, the most for the season for Josh Spindler. Old Forge looking for their 3rd win on the season. Try to get things rolling before the championship game between these two teams again, November 5th.
Well, Josh Spindler has actually had a great, he's always going to remember this homecoming right now. 3 touchdowns, over almost 150 yards rushing, and his defense play is doing really well.
Deep kick, and this is Douglas for about his 16. Shoots through, holds on to the ball, and Trail will have it at their own 39 now, trailing by 19.
Cafe Rinaldi Restaurant, Main Street, Old Forge, always serving up the best Italian cuisine, including their award-winning white risotto. Plan your banquets as well as in their banquet room. Cafe Rinaldi, a proud sponsor of Old Forge football. Go Blue Devils.
Bye-bye, Jan Cechek in the booth. Amanda Cool on the sideline. Steven Jervis to the air. Finds an open receiver. It's Gumbel. And Gumbel inside Blue Devil territory, knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Go ahead, Bob. I was going to say, watch this. He just comes right out from his slot position, wide open, great connection. We saw this in the second half, or the second quarter, before, where we saw how Lackawanna Trail responded to Old Forge, and right now they're coming out swinging.
35-yard gain for the Lions. Trying to get back in this one. Second man through is Gimmel. And he's tripped up inside the 20, close to the line to gain for a first down.
Max Kimmel coming on that Sally play right there. It wasn't the double reverse. You'll see that they just go a deep motion, and he came that way. And what the Sally does is on one side you're doing a pass pro where he's running to, and then you have a drive block on the side that he lines up at, trying to establish a little bit of a gap difference on the offensive line.
How hard is it for a team to face this maybe once a year and to plan for it? Now, Old Forge has played these teams every year, but you're not a team used to this wing tee. How hard is it to prepare for?
You saw the first series, the first couple series, very difficult to prepare for because of the misdirection that the wing tee allows you to do. Go ahead.
Hunter Patterson with a big run for the Lions inside the 5. It's a figure law first down inside the Allied Services red zone. First and goal, Lackawanna Trail at the 4.
And what I like is that Coach Jervis said to Amanda to start the second half, it's a 48-minute game. We've got 24 minutes, and they're still playing like it's not almost a 20-point difference. So that's what I like, the fight that they're showing and the grit they have right now. Coach is going to feel pretty good about this.
Gimmel to about the 1. Logan Edwards leading the way, the sophomore.
Bob, you were saying about how hard is it to defend this. The other caveat to that is Lackawanna Trail runs it all the time at 100%. Now you try to get your scout team to run it, it's going to come at you 80%. So it's not going to be the same look. It's not going to be at the same speed. It's just like when teams play Crestwood. They run that single wing stuff. You're not used to seeing it. It's unconventional.
Edwards, the fullback, in for a Lackawanna Trail touchdown. No give up yet for the Lions. 9:42 left in the fourth quarter.
You just see Hunter Patterson just bang his way in there. The 6'1", 190-pound junior. Nice job, gets his first touchdown of the year.
Boric on for the PAT. They cut into the lead. And almost blocked, and I think it might have been. It was blocked and no good, but Lackawanna Trail, a 61-yard drive on 5 plays, cuts the lead to 13 here in the fourth. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. Old Forge leads Lackawanna Trail 33-20. Now let's meet our our figured law firm Scholar Athletes of the Week. Both of them are on the football teams from Lackawanna Trail. We have Francis Kokini. He's a member of the football and baseball teams, a member of the National Honor Society. He's his class president and is an Eagle Scout. He hopes to attend the United States Air Force Academy. And from Old Forge, Casey Holtzman, you heard his name quite a bit tonight. He's a member of the football and basketball teams, a member of the National Honor Society. He participates in dual enrollment where he attends the University of Scranton. He's ranked 8th in his class, and he volunteers with special ed students and as well as other organizations in the Old Forge community. He plans on playing football in college and will study physical therapy. Bob, Jan, 2 very impressive football players that we had a chance to meet this week.
2 outstanding Scholar athletes.
Amanda always gets to that. She gets to meet the top kids at each program. It's incredible.
Now both of those will be entered into a $5,000 scholarship on behalf of Allied Services and MyTV. So Spindler for a yard. Sobel over the middle. It's caught by Bardanowski. 16-yard gain inside Lion territory. What a strike from James Sobel.
21 gets up a little bit tender on that one, but again, Sobel, boy, he got a rocket for an arm. He put perfect placement on there on that skinny post, put it right on his hip. Nice job. Nice connection.
Good protection, too, as well. Old Forge wants to match this, and they're not going to run the ball and run the clock out. Not Coach Schuback. Spindler again. The line's there, but it's hard to take down this 205-pound senior when you've been playing all night and getting pounded.
He's just, you would think by the fourth quarter he'd be tired. He looks like he's getting stronger and fresher. Nice job up there. That offensive line is getting a little bit of burst on their own to reestablish for 1 yard, and Spindler's just taking the game over right now by being able to pick the holes he wants to run and then carry Lions with him.
The other thing, Old Forge has to watch this and see if they have to call timeout. Plenty of time on the play clock. Back inside the Spindler, and he's going to be a yard short of the line to gain. Under 8 to play here in Blue Devil country.
They just go with the RPO with the power play, number 51, pulling from the right tackle, Andrew Santasero, coming in, lead blocking for him.
Two Saturday games coming up for Old Forge the next 2 weeks. Susquehanna, Holy Cross. Sobel lost his footing. It is slippery out there, a little bit of dew, and we have a flag on the far side. And now we have a second flag inside. Couple flags down, but Sobel couldn't get any footing on the quarterback keeper.
We have a little bit of grass out there, so it's not like at the 50 where you can see more dirt than grass.
Jim Miller, our referee tonight from the Lackawanna Football Conference. Trying to sort it out.
Balls on the play. The high ball fall for illegal shift on the offense. That'll be 5 yards down. I have a perfect fall. Sportsmanlike 77. I've been sportsmanlike number 77 blue. That's a dead ball tacked onto the end.
So there you go. 2 fouls against the Blue Devils. They'll not make Coach Schuback happy. One on Senior Rose was the personal foul. And you heard about the illegal shift, so this will back them up, what, 20?
20 yards. So it was 3rd and 1.
And now it's going to be 3rd and 21. See, I'm good at math.
You didn't use your fingers or toes. I'm impressed.
You don't know that. So, yes, it goes back to Old Forge territory to the 45. To get a first down, they have to go to the Lions 34. So, on 3rd down. So, you don't want to force it here. Maybe try it and at least punt. You're still up 13 left.
Well,
now they're moving it forward again. So the illegal shift is declined.
I was trying to figure out how it became 20,
down.
but that would, okay.
Because, so the legal shift happened when the play.
Right, that's 5.
And the unsportsmanlike is a dead ball foul.
And that's 15, so that's.
Yeah, so now it's 4th down. So that brings up 4th down. And that's what Coach Schuback's trying to figure out. So because the unsportsmanlike was a non-time down, it was,
It was 3rd and 1.
It was 3rd and 1.
Right.
But then you back them up 15. So now you punt. So
no, you have to at this point. Again, the way that trail came out that last year is let's pin them in deep and let's let the clock be used against them. They had used one of their timeouts. So let's put the pressure on them.
So Bartkowski comes in. He averaged 34 yards on a punt. He's punted once tonight. Back is Litwin. Is a high hanging catch. And a fair catch called, and he's interfered by Holtzman. So this is going to go against Old Forge on interference on the punt returner. So this will give them another 15?
Yes.
The other way.
I thought it bounced off of Holtzman's helmet, to be honest with you.
We'll sort this one out. So we didn't have that many yellow flags all night, and suddenly now in the fourth quarter we've had several, and we're all trying to figure out what's going on. So here's the fair catch. There's the signal.
Okay, so the ball did go off his helmet, but he did call that fair catch. It was late. Really wasn't way over his head as it should be, but he did call it. Okay.
So now Trail has the ball, their side of the field at the 45. So 55 yards away from a touchdown. Still plenty of time, just under 7 to play here in this game. Was a 19-point lead. Jervis is taken down for a sack. What a big play for Old Forge. Rose was in there and Krappa as well.
Watch this pressure put on. 52 come flying in. Then we got number 77, Khalil Rose, making up for that personal foul he had.
His second sack of the season to Rose. He was the first guy to get him, and this one's backed up to the 35. Big play by the Old Forge defense. Under 10 on the play clock, 5 now. Trail's got to get this one off. And they, nope. So that whole half a second thing, nope. Delay a game against the Lions. It got it off a hair late.
And again, we have the end zone clocks going. The official and the defensive secondary, at 5 seconds, he will put his hand up to make sure that the quarterback knows that it's within 5.
So Lackawanna Trail going the wrong way. They start out with great field position. They're now back almost 15 yards from where they started. It is second down. Second guy through and nowhere to go. Read perfectly by Andrew Sanacero.
They're just starting to now shoot their gaps. They're starting to physically shuck the offensive lineman, and now they're getting to the ball carrier for losses. Old Forge looks a little bit fresher now than the offensive line of Lackawanna Trail.
Again, a lot of these players playing both ways. Class A football. Trying to do a quick hitter to the fullback and nowhere to go. Old Forge is right there. Patterson. No gain on the play, and here comes the Lions punt team. Lackawanna Trail ran a fake punt against Dunmore last week, if I remember right.
They did.
I don't know if you're going to see it here on 4th down and 29, or it's going to be 31. 4th and 31.
Would not be prudent.
No. Kimmel, high kick over the heads of the Dunmore players and takes a Lion bounce. Excuse me, the Old Forge players. And inside the 30 to the 28 it goes.
NFL on Fox this Sunday starts with the NFL kickoff show at 11. Then the Bears travel to the New York Giants. Both teams are 2-1. See if local favorite Saquon Barkley can pull off the win. Fox NFL Sunday only on Fox 56.
So 4:24 left in this game. 13-point advantage for Old Forge. They have the ball. See if Coach Schubeck now wants to run some time or go for like a quick one downfield.
I think he's just right now, he's just going to let's grind this out. Let's use the entire clock. That's probably what he was saying to James Sobel there. Look, well, and then
I think he's going to go for the home run.
And then they go.
Again, this is a rivalry. Both teams play each other a lot, twice this year. Nowhere for Spindler to go. Good defense there.
Number 52 in there again, doing a great job for the Trail Lions.
Colby Soltis.
Coming in there. Look at that. Nice job.
1 yard gain. I mean, a big night for the offense for Old Forge.
What I was starting to say to you, Bob, was that maybe Coach Schubeck is going to take it down the clock. And it was. They took that play down to 2 seconds left. So let's see what they do here. He's using all of that 24-second clock.
They get away with one. Sobel takes a big hit and just goes down inside and inbounds.
Demetrius Douglas, number 5, led that entourage of Lions there.
So right about the 31, third down.
The freshman Isaac Ryan, number 10, 5'8", 150-pound freshman playing cornerback, was on that side also.
So James Sobel with 2 touchdown passes tonight. Josh Spindler with 3 scores on the ground. It makes it 33-20 your score, under 3 to play now. Spindler cuts it back inside, has a figure law first down, and gets it up for about 29, make it 30 to midfield. A 20-yard gain and a first down.
Old Forge, they shift their tight end and wing, and then they are unbalanced to the right side of their line, and Spindler gets the ball, heads out that way. Good key block out there by number 11. Matt Lasinski trying to make sure that the stalk block's there so he can get that extra yardage.
There you see the workhorse, over 20 carries tonight and well over 150 yards for Josh Spindler, 2 highs on the season. Working the clock. Just 1 timeout left, I believe, for Trail, maybe 2. Holtzman cuts it back, leaps the player, and gets inside the 35. It's a figure law first down.
Boy, Casey Holtzman is fast. He's got a great burst. Once he gets that ball, he is just off to the races on this. See him on that RPO, gets to the outside, beats the block. Look, he's caught up with the stalk block, pushes him off inside, then tries to hop over number 52 and number 76 in there, or 72.
Well, that's just about do it. 90 seconds left. Old Forge will improve to 3-3. In fact, both teams go to 3-3 on the season. And again, they will meet in early November for the Class A District 2 title, no matter what. There's only 2 teams in District 2 and Class A.
Lucas Evans on that stop right there. Another freshman, 6'1", 245. Wrapped Holtzman up and threw him to the ground.
That's for Trail. Riverside and Trail next week. Old Forge heads to Susquehanna. So nice job by the offensive line tonight. Sobel takes a knee, and that will do it. So on homecoming here in the pizza capital of the world, Old Forge pulls out a 13-point advantage over Lackawanna Trail. Coming up, our Army National Guard players of the game with Amanda down on the field. We'll wrap things up from Veterans Memorial Stadium. And get set for Crestwood and Hazleton area next week in the Wyoming Valley Conference. Big school matchup. Clock hits 0. Both teams will shake hands. Coach, and early in the second quarter, it was tied at 14, but since then, it was all Old Forge and the Blue Devils.
They just went to work, and they kind of got that wing tee figured out a little bit better on defense, and they stopped all the big plays in the misdirection. And it was really interesting to see how Lackawanna Trail, though, I got to give Coach Jervis and the Lions a lot of credit that they didn't stop playing. They kept fighting to the very end.
So a good night here for football in Class A. Both teams going head-to-head, all players, most of them playing both ways, and this is what this kind of football is all about.
Class A football when, super small schools, and again, I give credit to both schools because they both have decent numbers out there for small schools, but your best players have to go both ways.
So Amanda has our Army National Guard players of the game. Let's go down to her on the field.
That's right. I've got our players of the game with us. 3 touchdowns, over 150 yards. What did tonight mean to you and your team on homecoming?
Just taking the field and homecoming with all the seniors. Our last ride, we wanted to bring it. Practice all good all week. We had to take the win.
You'll play this team again in that district championship game on November 5th. What can you take from tonight to look forward to that game?
That we're bigger, we're better, we're stronger, and we have more stamina than them, and we're going to win week 11.
Thanks, guys. Good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, bold statement there from James Sobel, but, right on the mark. A lot of confidence on this team right now for Old Forge.
That's what the mantra for Old Forge is, though. They want to be bigger, stronger, more physical than any team they play. And they've had a rough go of it the first part of the season. Second half, we'll see we know how they're going to do. There's really not too many obstacles in their way, and they're going to just get ready for November 5th.
That's it. All comes down to November 5th. Still plenty of football, though, to play in between as they head into Division III play in the Lackawanna Football Conference. Next week, yes, we will have a FNR top 10 matchup. Crestwood number 9 now, Hazleton number 3. That will change, I'm sure, next week, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be ranked in the top 10. So that's next Friday night, October 7th, 7 p.m. right here on MyTV, Wyoming Valley Conference Division I football. Great job by our crew tonight, especially Mr. Gumble on the field watching Mr. Gumble play, which was very strange, kind of cool. And good job by Amanda and everyone in the truck, including Ernie Mangoni on replay. For Amanda Kuhl, for Jan Sichak, this is Bob Ide saying so long from the pizza capital of the world. The final score again, Old Forge 33, Lackawanna Trail 20.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Tom Hesser Dealerships on MyTV WQMY.